Sneha Mordani is also joining me on the story. Sneha, is she alive? Is she dead? That was the question on everyone's mind over the past 24 hours. A lot of people, in fact, from our team only had said that it looks like this is a PR stunt because everyone had gone completely silent. Her family was missing. No one was speaking anything. Sneha, do you actually believe, this will have a positive impact, or do you believe that this might really backfire very badly?
I'll tell you something, Aishwarya, that if you ask for my personal opinion on this, well, it is very hard to believe. Let me just put out the facts first, okay? That Poonam Pandey claiming that her team claiming that she's passed away due to cervical cancer. Videos were put out just from 3 days ago in which she was seen having a good time. Unfortunately for victims of cervical cancer, that's not how they pass away. That's not how they succumb to cervical cancer. The last few days of this disease is terrible. The symptoms are such, and when it's the last stage, the symptoms in that sense, magnify. And also, Poonam Pandey's team were the only ones who had spoken about it. If the attempt, she says, was to put the spotlight on cervical cancer, yes, it has generated chatter, but at what cost? You've actually faked your own death to generate conversation around cervical cancer. Could have there been better ways to do it? Definitely yes. Given that there is very poor awareness, given that there is a lot of stigma attached to it, but it led to a lot of chatter, so it achieved what it had to. Everybody was talking about cervical cancer in a country where there are no takers for a vaccine that has been around for 17 years. It's actually one of those few cancers that can be prevented using a vaccine. However, she's put the spotlight, but like many would say, in poor taste. I'm glad she's alive. I'm glad she's young. She's 32, and she's not had to go through this. But today, I would just want to spare a thought for the family members of those who've lost their loved ones to cervical cancer. I think there are a million other ways of putting focus and putting spotlight on cervical cancer. Outside of India and otherwise also, for example, PETA campaigns are pretty aggressive when you want to put a spotlight on an issue. However, many would argue in the way she did it, whether it was ethical to actually fake her death or not, whether there were different ways to raise awareness. Now, for example, let me tell you that, even men who may have HPV infection essentially can get different kinds of cancer. So she has sensationalized this entire issue, I would say, in a way, generated chatter, but I personally don't agree with the way she had done it. Also, I think it takes away from the seriousness of this entire matter. The government has spoken about it, and, we've had beautiful campaigns in the country, Aishwarya. Polio drop campaigns, for example. Other health campaigns, for example. Shingles, for example, that Mr. Bachchan is a face-off. Polio drop campaigns that celebrities have been a face-off. Beautiful campaigns without sensationalizing and, I would say, trivializing this issue.
Thank you, Sneha, for giving us all that perspective. A lot of questions now being raised on what exactly Poonam Pandey has done. She'll be receiving, for some she might be a hero, but for others, people will look at this campaign as something that has massively backfired.